Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Walls and Ceilings, and thank you for joining me for a very special episode of If Walls Could Talk. And always honored and thrilled to have Thea Dudley, the CEO of Pocket Protectors. Thea, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Jill. Always a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's always a great conversation to have you on, Thea, because when it comes to credit, as you are better known as the credit overlord, there's lots to happen. And I love all the horse paraphernalia you have in the background, because sometimes I think you need to wrangle these guys up and lasso them and tie them in and be like, hey, where's your check? Anyway,
yeah, sometimes it kind of feels like it's a beat down.
No, for sure. Well, again, lots to talk about here. So Thea, please tell us, what does everybody need to know that's going on with foreclosures and bankruptcies?
Well, there's a lot going on right now, Jill, in the space. And one of the things I want to make sure that all of our contractors out there watch out for is, bankruptcies are up, Chapter 11s are up 71% from beginning of the year. And bankruptcies overall are up 15%, which means there's a lot less money on the streets and some people are going to go home with a lot less. Foreclosures are also up, according to what just came out in my NACM reports. They're up 13% since the beginning of the year, and that's predominantly residential, which for those of you working in that space, I want you to be extra careful. Check out who you're doing business with. You guys tend to trust everybody and you don't check people out. So getting the work documented, getting maybe a credit report, getting signatures, making sure change orders or add-ons are signed for, and then knowing who you're doing business with. It doesn't take that much effort to check out who you're doing work for. So be careful, stay on your AR, don't let people roll out, get that money taken off the street. Don't be the nice guy is what I'm saying. Now is not the time. Interest rates are high. Cost of money is the highest it's been in a very long time. Somebody is going in this little game of musical chairs. Somebody's not going to have a chair. Don't let it be you.
Yeah, for sure. So when you say bankruptcies are up 71%, can you clarify that a little bit more? From like what time period and what is that? That sounds crazy significant. So I'd love to put some context behind that.
Well, that's since the beginning of the year. So if you look at this, it's up 71% from last year. So when you take all the bankruptcies, even from the last several years, it's up exponentially overall, but it jumped 71%. We didn't see a lot of bankruptcies during COVID and in the first year or two coming out of COVID, because everyone was still flush with cash. Everybody still had their PPP money. People were a little more flexible. They had some extra spending because of, all of the government handouts or, just kind of dipping into some of those reserves. And now all of that money's gone. And interest rates are up. The cost of just living is up. And so money's tighter. Money's a lot tighter on the street. So you're looking at Chapter 11s being up that 71. And then overall bankruptcy is 15. So Chapter 11 is typically when companies go into a reorganization. Chapter 7 is when companies or individuals typically, it's just over. They liquidate if they have any assets. And then a Chapter 13 is just your wage earner bankruptcy. So you've got some things to watch out for. And typically when someone goes bankrupt, you're never going to be made whole. It's going to feel like a gut punch because it is. You're going to maybe see pennies on the dollar. I've never come out of a bankruptcy where I'm like, that wasn't so bad.
Oh gosh. Right. My goodness. Well, you were just sharing an example with me before we got on as well that seemed very significant for how to handle a certain situation. What was that? And can you tell everybody what they should know about?
Oh, so when we're talking about watching your AR, and it's that delicate balance between, do I lose this customer or do I stick to my guns and get paid? And the longer you let that money linger out there, the harder it is to collect. So in this particular case, a company's out almost a year with one of their customers with invoices, and they've been turning work over on a consistent basis. They're getting paid, but invoices get missed, or there was a problem with there wasn't a PO, or there wasn't a work order or a signature assigned. So there's big gaps and skips to where pretty soon you're looking at stuff that might go back an entire year. and they're trying to get it cleaned up. And unfortunately, now it's kind of down to that, T minus 20, and we're looking at, all right, what are we going to do? And you have to have some hard conversations. Do you go up the food chain and risk losing the customer and losing that business? Or do you try to continue along the way that you have been? And there's some pitfalls to both, and it really depends if you're carrying, let's say, $75,000 to $100,000 that's past due, and it's significantly past due. How much further in debt are you going to get? Or are you going to say, all right, they're paying the newer stuff now, we're going to eat that, or we're going to just keep trying to make it better? Because so far that hasn't worked out.
So how does that go? If you had to role play with me, when you sit down with that customer, what do you say to them?
Hey, look, here's where we are. These are the commitments that you made. These are the invoices. I've done everything you've asked me to do. Where's my check? What are we doing? Is there somebody I need to talk to other than you? Because we've been sitting down here discussing this. I do have your CEO's name. I've got your CFO's name. Who do we need to go up the food chain to? Because I want this to work out well for both of us. It probably isn't going to go well when you tell them, hey, I'm going to go above your head. People don't tend to like that. Or I've had the occasional where people have worked out where, hey, I'm just getting nowhere with so-and-so in our AP department, or, we're short staffed. I can appreciate that, but what do I need to go back in there and write my own check? What do we need to do to make this happen? And, hey, I can't put any more trucks on the road.
Rip the Band-Aid off and just have the tough conversation like you were saying.
Yeah, I'll just pull you off the roof, or pull you out of the inside of the house, and I can't continue to fund your company. So what's happening here? I mean, an honest conversation, it goes much better face to face. People tend to not be as bold on the phone or in an email. People say a lot of horrific stuff, or they get a little full of themselves because you're not face to face with them. Right. So if you can have it face to face, it's always better. I realize that's not always possible.
Well, that is incredible insight, Thea. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the nuggets of information. Is there anything else that's making your phone ring right now?
Right now, it is just the slow payments.
Okay.
What do we do? I got a notification of receivership, bankruptcy. This house got foreclosed on. Do I still have lien rights? We could do a whole nother session on any one of those topics. So, maybe we just need to start doing here's the question of the week.
Yeah, no doubt. We should be, for sure. Well, if anybody has any questions, Thea, how do they get a hold of you?
You can reach me at pocketprotectors.com, and that's pocketprotectorsllc.com. Otherwise, you'll get like the Nerd Festival coming up at you.
I love it.
Or at thea@creditoverlord.com.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Thea. And if anybody has any questions for us, it's roofingcontractor.com, wconline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content, especially our videos, our e-news, our website, our e-magazines, so you can stay up to date on all the great content we're putting out, especially our interviews like we are today with Thea. And you can see all of this on our social channels as well. But most importantly, stay safe and healthy. And we can't wait to talk to you soon. Thanks again, Thea.
Thanks, Jill.